Okay, we are live. This is Katie from Nerd Church attempting to do properly what I did badly yesterday because it's the Tritum and we're all about redemption arcs over here. So, this is for Kipp Davis, who showed his usual kindness and generosity by hopping on my stream for like about a half an hour and just kind of chilled out and gave me the rare privilege of actually talking through my graduate school experience with somebody who had been there. And that was awesome. And I appreciate that. And he listened to what I had to say with a lot of grace and good humor, probably more than I deserved. And so, before I answer some of his questions and some of the things that he's kind of interested in, I've set a timer for 15 minutes and I want to share some poetry with Kipp and hopefully something that you will all appreciate. Um, the poetry that I'm going to read is all by Allen Ginsberg because when Kipp Davis told me that he had not read Allen Ginsberg, my reaction was basically to say, you haven't read Ginsberg? Like, not you uncultured swine, you haven't read Ginsberg, but you haven't read Ginsberg. You have taken like 6 months to go snowboarding in 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 New Zealand. You have driven across the Canadian Rockies multiple times. You have gone to Norway. You have gone to Israel. You have done all these things. You are a man who reads poetry and you haven't read Ginsberg? Dude, no, you have to do that. Here, let me give you some Ginsberg. Only we weren't at my house, and so I couldn't run in and grab Ginsberg off the shelf, which is a good thing because I can't find my freaking copy of Howl anywhere, and it's driving me insane. Fortunately, I have an emergency backup because while I was sobbing over Dayspring by Anthony Oliveira, if you're not reading this book already, if you haven't read this book, if you are like a Christian who has religious trauma, especially if you are anywhere on the LGBTQ spectrum, go and buy this book and read it. When you're done crying, come back, finish watching this live stream. You will thank me. Okay. So when I read this book, my only note on the whole thing was, Anthony, my brother in Christ, you didn't include enough Allen Ginsberg quotes in this book. So I took it upon myself because he also included lots of blank pages to put more Ginsberg into the text. So this is just random excerpts from Allen Ginsberg, mainly from his first book, his best book, the book that put him on the map, Howl. And if you think that you want to hear more, he recorded most of his best known poems during his lifetime. And all of his books have been continuously in print since the 1950s. So I've got about 11 minutes left, so I'm going to read you some Ginsberg. I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by madness. Who drove cross country 72 hours to find out if I had a vision, or you had a vision, or he had a vision, to find out eternity, who journeyed to Denver, who came back to Denver, who waited in vain, who watched over Denver and brooded and loaned in Denver, and finally went away to find out time, and now Denver is lonesome for her heroes. Who fell on their knees in hopeless cathedrals, praying for each other's salvation, and light in breasts and soul illuminated its hair for a second. Holy, 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 holy. The world is holy, the soul is holy, the skin is holy, the nose is holy, the tongue and the hand and the everything is holy, everybody's holy. Every day is an eternity, every man's an angel. The bum's as holy as the seraphim. The madman is holy as you, my soul, are holy. The typewriter is holy, the poem is holy, the voice is holy, the hearers are holy, the ecstasy is holy. Holy Petra, holy Adam, holy Amanda, holy Hansel, holy Erica, holy the unknown bugbeard and suffering beggars, holy the hideous human angels, holy my mother in the insane asylum, holy the of the grandfathers of Kansas, holy the groaning saxophone, holy the bop apocalypse, holy the jazz man, marijuana hipsters, peace peyote pipes and drums. Holy the solitudes of skyscrapers and pavements, holy the cafeteria filled with the millions, holy the mysterious rivers of tears under the streets, holy the long juggernaut, holy the vast middle class, holy the crazy shepherds of rebellion. Who digs Los Angeles is Los Angeles, holy New York, holy San Francisco, holy Paris, holy Moscow, holy Istanbul, holy time and eternity, holy eternity and time, holy the clocks in space, holy the fourth dimension, holy the fifth international, holy the angel and Moloch, holy the sea, holy the desert, holy the railroad, holy the locomotive, holy the visions, holy the hallucinations, holy the miracles, holy the eyeballs, holy the forgiveness, mercy, charity, faith, ours, body, suffering, magnanimity, holy the supernatural, extra brilliant intelligence, kindness of the soul. My reward, when the garden fed me, its plums in the form of a small tree in the corner, an angel, thoughtful of my stomach and my dry, love-lorn tongue. Who loves himself loves me, who loves myself. When can I go into the supermarket and buy what I need with my good looks? You made me want to be a saint. I won't say the Lord's Prayer. I have mystical visions and cosmic vibrations. Happiness exists. I feel it. I cried for my soul. I cried for the world's soul. The world has a beautiful soul, God appearing to be seen and cried over. Though you're not old now, that's left here with me. There, rest. No more suffering for you. I know where you've gone, and it's good. Maybe there wasn't quite as many. No, maybe he's more towards the back. I don't know. If I only get through a few pages, that's fine too. Those are obviously just little pieces that I kind of wrote into the text. Whenever my timer goes off, my timer goes off. And obviously, any questions that you want to ask, just put them in the comments or drop me an email at nerdchurchofficial@gmail.com. And we'll see how it goes. But I just, kind of wanted to share some poetry and kind of let the poetry decide how much poetry I shared, because I don't know. This is kind of the controlled chaos version of the Tridom, which are the 3 days of Holy Thursday, Ash Wednesday, and Holy Saturday, which are my personal favorite days of the entire Christian calendar, because They are what I like very much to call goth Christmas, both because or rather, they're goth Halloween, because anybody can dress up for Halloween because Halloween is Christian Puro. Goth Halloween, which is the Triduum, because in those 3 days you are suffering with Jesus. That is the goal. You, and I'm talking about like me, but like any human being who is participating in these rituals is understood to be participating in Jesus's experiences during the Passion, and in some sense, maybe even taking a little bit of the weight off the crucifixion off of Jesus, depending on how, um, like mystical or, funky in your interpretation you like to get. And also, the idea is that, um, if nothing else, it kind of because remember, on Palm Sunday we start out with the Passion narrative from Matthew, and it's read as a four-part dialogue. There's the priest who is reading Jesus's words. There is a lector who is reading basically the narration parts. There is a um, there is a there's a lector or the deacon who is reading the dialogue of basically anybody who's not just called the crowd, right? So a woman, the priest, Caiaphas, whoever, Peter, whoever it is, that's the deacon. Then the audience gets the crowd's lines. So we are talking about a group of devout Catholics or maybe not so devout Catholics, but Catholics who have made a point to come to church on Palm Sunday and who probably have their little piece of blessed palm that they're getting ready to wave because they're super duper happy that, that they're getting to the exciting part. Yay, Jesus is coming into Jerusalem. Yay. I mean, it's community theater, it's kids, but at the same time, it kind of like gives you just this little piece of experience of what maybe that would have felt like. And for somebody with a good imagination, sometimes that's all you need, right? Is just that tactile connection, right? It's like palm trees are real, therefore God. Which for a lot of especially for a lot of people, especially little kids, that's all they really need, right? They don't need a sophisticated theology. They just want to know that God exists and everything's basically okay. So, but on Palm Sunday, the crowd has to yell, "Give us Barabbas." The crowd has to hold the palm of martyrdom in their hand, because in Catholic iconography, if you see a saint holding a palm, that means that they're a martyr. So you have to stand there like Peter, holding the palm of martyrdom in your hand, and you have to say, "Crucify him." And then they give you Monday, Tuesday. I'm going to wrap this up and then I'll finish. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to sit there and think about that. And then you go to work, do all your normal stuff. Then Thursday night, you go to church. And you get a chance to start thinking about the Garden of Gethsemane, the dinner, the Last Supper, all of that stuff. You're focusing on that happening on Thursday. So that's the first day of the Triduum. I'm probably going to stop talking about the Triduum right now, just because I kind of want to walk through it a day at a time, maybe. because I think it's important just to let people, kind of feel what this feels like. If you're interested in just seeing what it looks like and looking at the readings, a lot of Catholic churches will have um, will have like a filmed mass up that you are welcome to watch. Nothing about the Catholic liturgy is closed practice as long as you're just watching it. And honestly, if you're curious, it's probably easier to watch a live stream than it would be to like go to a Catholic church and feel kind of awkward and be all up in your feels. So, anyway, I hope that this has been educational, and I will be back at some point later when I figure out the next thing that needs to get talked about. Okay, bye.